What's up guys, how you doing? So I just wanted to do this quick video and talk about a big problem I'm seeing at the moment is people getting sore backs, especially in the lower back, because the majority of us have been working from home for the past nearly a year now, and that's a big kind of cause of people getting sore backs. So I wanted to talk you through how you can fix it basically. So the first thing is talking why it's happened. Okay, so the majority of us are working from home. We don't have good working from home setups. So what happens is when we're sitting for long periods of time, that's the main cause of the lower back kind of tightness and potential pain, is we're sitting in this position. When we're sitting, our hip flexors, so these wee muscles here are basically in this shortened position. So we're sitting here, you can see there they're in this shortened position. So over time, it's going to get tight through there because the muscles are constantly in their shortened position. So when you stand up here, they're tight. They should be normal in this position, but they're tight because they're getting forced into that shorter position all the time. So what happens when these muscles get tight here and they're used to being in this shorter position, basically what happens is they pull on the front of our hips here. So rather than our hips being flat like that, our hips are tilted forward slightly, which means you'll end up with this kind of, this is over exaggerated here, but you'll end up with this kind of arched in position, like the way some people take photos on Instagram. So rather than being in this neutral spine position here with your hips flat, they're tilting forwards because these muscles are pulling your hip down because they're tighter. So that explains why you probably get a little bit of soreness, a little bit of tightness in your lower back here when really you want to be in this position. So I mean, the best way to fix it really is starting at the source and making sure when you're working, number one, you're sitting correctly. The number one thing that happens is I speak to clients and stuff like that who are getting this back pain because they're working from home, and I'm like, well, how are you working? And the majority of the time when we're all working from home, you sit like a wee fucking gremlin like that, like pure hunched over, or, and this one kills me, you get people who either sit with their foot underneath them like that, like a little goblin, or like a foot like up here or something like that. So where possible, when you're working from home, try and sit like, you know, a normal human being would be great. And you know, making sure your posture's wrong and all that. What happens as the day goes on and we deal with more people's shit, we tend to get more stressed out and we tighten up and, you know, you hunch your shoulders up and all this stuff. What I would say is, if you're sitting for long periods of time, which the majority of us are, we're sitting in this position, and like I said, our hips are in that short position, you want to come in and just stand up and stretch them out. So every hour, set yourself like a wee timer on your phone, and every hour just get up and move about. What I've actually got is, I've got my main desk here, which I use for working. I've got my main desk here, it's a mess, so I won't show you all of it. My main desk here, but I've also got this wee stand here, so I can sit my laptop on top of the stand, and I can move it between this desk and that desk. So I don't want to stand all day when I'm working, but I kind of move between the two, so that way I'm not sitting all day long. In case you were wondering what was going on in the background there, this is my barbell that I use at home for Zoom workouts, for demonstrating to people how to do exercises. Very high tech. And yeah, so I can move the laptop between the two, and that way, you know, my hips aren't in that shortened position all day, and then it's pulling on my hips and giving me that sore back. So that's number one thing you can do, is just get up and move about. Set a timer on your phone and just, even if it's literally standing up for a couple of minutes every hour, that's actually going to make all the difference, because it's just getting your hips out of that shortened position. Another thing to do is just make sure when you are standing, you're not exacerbating that arched in position here. So you want to think about having your glutes squeezed and your abs pulled in here, so your hips are flat. You've got this hip tuck here, your hips are flat, and you're in a kind of normal standing position. What you'll find is, if you look at yourself in the mirror, you're probably, that's an over exaggeration of what you're like, but you've probably got a little bit of curvature in the lower back there. So try and think about, you want your hips flat, abs are pulled in, glutes are squeezed. Now, if we've got tight hips anyway, standing up and standing like that is gonna help, but it's not gonna help loosen them off loads. So we need to get some stretches and stuff like that in there to help loosen off the hips. So I've put together a wee three kind of mobility exercises to do, which will help you loosen off the hips, and number one, you'll feel a lot better, and number two, it should relieve any kind of back pain that you've got. It's super short as well. Like if you do one round, it'll take like 5 minutes. Ideally, you can do it in the morning. Ideally you would do 3 rounds, but if you only get 1 round in, it's fine. Like just it's better. 1 round's better than nothing, and you will get benefit from it. If you do 3 rounds, you obviously get more benefit from it. But what you can find, some of my clients do like 1 in the morning, and then 1 in the middle of the day, and then 1 in the afternoon, so they get 3 rounds throughout the day, and it keeps them moving, things like that. However you want to do it. So you're gonna start off. This camera's not great. You're going to start off with squat flows. So all I'm doing for squat flows is I'm going to come into a squat position, so my feet just widen the shoulder width. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to squat down as low as I can, and then I'm going to put my hands on the floor in front of me, and I'm going to drive my hips up so I get a good stretch in the hamstrings here, and I'll come up to standing like that. That's 1 rep. So I'm going to squat down, just like that. Hands come down on the floor in front of me, I lean forwards onto my hands, and I drive my bum up in the air, just like so. We're going to do 5 of these. I'll do it with you just for this one, and then we'll move on to the next exercise. So what you want to make sure is you're not just leaning forwards and putting your hands straight on the floor. You really want to actively squat down first, then put your hands on the floor, and then drive your hips up. Don't worry if you can't if you can't squat that low. What you can do a couple of things. I don't have anything that I can use just now, to be honest with you, but if you can do a couple of things, you can elevate your heels. So if you grab these books here, that will do the job. You can elevate your heels if you're struggling to get down low enough in the squat. Stick a book or something like that under each foot, under the heel, so the heel's elevated, and then you should be able to get down lower. Drag the hips up. You don't need to go down as low as I'm going, literally just work within your range and get down as low as you can. So squatting down, hands come down, drive the hips up. I think that's 5 we've done there, but you get the idea if you do 5 of those. Next up, we're going to do hip openers. So let me show you here. So we're going to come into a 90-90 position here. So you're going to take, basically called the 90-90 position because both your knees are 90 degrees. I think we're about to get a visitor. Hello sir, have you come to help? Wow, what a handsome boy. So you're going to come into this 90-90 position here. Darwin's going to help. So my left leg, my left leg's going to come out in front of me with my knee at 90 degrees here. My right leg's going to come out to the side, again with my knee at 90 degrees. Okay, so my right thigh here is parallel to my left calf, just like that. I'm in this 90-90 position. Okay, just going to shuffle forwards a little bit so you can see. I've got my left hand on the ground outside me here, just to support myself. I'm going to take my right hand here, I'm going to put it on my left knee, like so. So I'm pinning my left knee down into the ground. And Darwin's going to lick my hand. Thank you. So then I'm going to take the toes of my right foot, I'm going to point them in towards the corner of the room here. So I'm just pointing my toes. From there, all I'm going to do is keeping this left knee pinned down, I'm going to bring my right knee up as far as I can. So here, just like that. I'm going to rotate, and I'll get to the point where I hit this wall, right? So it might be here, it might be further than I am there, and you're going to hit this wall where you can't get any further without, I know if I lifted this leg it would come up, but we're not going to do that. So I'm going to keep this pinned, and I'm going to hit this wall. I'm going to get a good squeeze, and I'm just going to come back down to the floor. Just like that. Okay, so we're going to do 5. Should be able to get a little further each rep you do here. Good. And then I'm going to swap onto the other side. So exact same on the other side. My right leg's going to go out in front of me at 90 degrees. My left leg's going to come out to the back here. I'll scooch forwards a little bit so you can see. Come on, you come here. Okay, so my left leg's going to come out to the side, just like that. I'm going to point my toes. My left hand comes to my right knee, so it pins it down to the floor. Is that you away? Open the door for you? No, you're just going to stay there? Perfect, thanks bud. There you go. So my left hand's going to come to my right knee, and point my toes, and then I'm going to bring this knee up as far as I can. Squeeze, just like that. So you can see my left leg is a lot tighter than my right. I don't have quite as much range of movement. That's absolutely fine. Try to get as much as I can. 5 on that leg. like so. Let me put this camera up here for the last one. So those are 90-90 hip openers we've just done there. Okay, that should be about right for the camera there. Yeah, so last exercise, I'm going to come into this kneeling position here. Again, make sure you're not arching through your back here. I want my abs locked in, but glutes squeezed here. From this position, so I'm just in a high kneeling position here, I'm going to drag my left leg up in front of me. Oh, my phone's just got on a low battery. Okay, of course. So in this kneeling position here, tall kneeling position, I'm going to bring my left leg up in front of me to here, just like so. And all I'm going to do from there, I really want to squeeze my right glute, my right butt cheek here. All I'm going to do, keeping my abs locked in, is I'm going to drive forwards, drive this knee forwards, drive this right hip forwards. I should get a good stretch up through, you can really feel it in the hip flexors and the quads there. So on the other side, you'll get a better view of what's going on here. I'm going to take my right knee up here, my left butt cheek, I'm going to squeeze as hard as I can, and I'm going to drive this left hip forwards, abs stay locked in here. So I'm not arching through the lower back or anything like that, I'm just driving forwards. So it'll look like here, just like that, get a good stretch up through here and back. Okay, you're going to do 5 each leg. Good squeeze, good stretch, and then back. So all these mobility exercises we've done here are active stretching, which is just going to win every time. Rather than sitting and holding a stretch, actually moving through these range of motions and actively stretching is going to have much more benefit over our mobility. The only problem with all these is I always lose count of how many reps I've done. I think that's 4, so we'll do 1 more each side. And that's it. So those are the 3 wee exercises you're going to go through there. And I would do these, I mean, yeah, daily will do the job, to be honest with you. If you can't do it daily, you can't commit to that, you know, do it a couple of times a week. Just anything is more than doing nothing, you know. So ideally you're going to do 3 rounds, but if you've only got time for 1, do 1. Don't think, oh, because I don't have time to do 3, I'm just not going to do it at all. Get 1 round done and you'll notice the difference quite quickly in terms of the tightness in the lower back and stuff like that there. So the squat flows, squat down, hands in front, 5 reps of those. The 90-90 position hip openers, 5 reps each side of those. And then the kneeling hip mobility there, you're going to do 5 reps each side as well. And that's it, guys. Hopefully you begin to experience less back pain, and this should be a little explanation, should make things a little bit better for you. Have a wonderful rest of your day.